My name is Daniel Grayson. I'm 38 years old, and until 6 weeks ago, I thought I had a pretty good life. I live in a quiet suburb of Columbus, Ohio, brick homes, tree-lined streets, two-car garages, and the kind of neighbors who wave but don't really talk. My house isn't big, but it's ours. 2 stories, 3 bedrooms, a backyard with a deck I built myself over a long weekend back in 2016. The kind of place where you hang Christmas lights every year and mow the lawn on Saturday mornings like clockwork. I work as a project manager for a mid-sized logistics company. Not glamorous, not Wall Street money, but steady. Good benefits. Paid vacation. A 401k that grows just enough to make me feel like I'm doing something right. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. and shower, drink black coffee from the same chipped "World's Okayest Dad" mug my daughter made in 2nd grade, kiss my wife goodbye, and drive 20 minutes to the office with NPR on low in the background. My wife's name is Lauren. We've been married for 12 years. We met in college, at a keg party of all places. She was wearing a red hoodie and arguing with some guy about whether The Great Gatsby was overrated. She said yes, I said no. I walked up, handed her a plastic cup of warm beer, and said, "You're wrong, by the way." She looked at me, smirked, and said, "Prove it." We talked for 4 hours that night. About books, music, politics, our families. She was sharp, funny, and didn't suffer fools. I was smitten. 3 months later, we were inseparable. 5 years after graduation, we got married in a small ceremony in her parents' backyard. 10 years in, we had a kid, a girl, Emily, now 8 years old, with Lauren's dark curls and my stubborn chin. We weren't perfect. Who is? We argued about money sometimes. About chores. About how I leave my socks everywhere and how she never closes cabinet doors. But we always made up. Always laughed about it eventually. We had rhythm. A routine. A life. Or so I thought. It started with little things. At first, they were so small I almost missed them. Like dust motes floating in sunlight, there, but easy to ignore if you're not looking closely. Lauren started staying late at work more often. Budget meetings, she'd say. Team sync-ups. Then came the weekends, suddenly busy with girls' trips or wellness retreats with her friend Jenna, whom I'd only met twice. I didn't think much of it. People change. Careers get busier. We both worked hard. I figured she was just climbing the ladder at her marketing firm. But then the phone thing started. She used to leave it lying around, on the kitchen counter, the bathroom sink, charging on the nightstand. Now she carried it everywhere. Even to bed. Even in the shower. Once, when Emily knocked it into the sink while washing her hands, Lauren snapped at her like I'd never heard before. "Don't touch my phone." Her voice was sharp, panicked. Emily burst into tears. I stepped in, told Lauren to chill out, reminded her it wasn't a crime to bump a phone. She apologized later, but it felt forced. Hollow. And then there were the texts. I saw her typing once, late at night, curled up on the couch with the TV on mute. I walked past on my way to the kitchen for water. As I passed, her thumb swept across the screen, locking it fast. Too fast. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah," she said, smiling. Just replying to Mom. Her mom lives in Florida. It was 11:47 p.m. I didn't press it. Didn't want to seem paranoid. But something tugged at me, low and deep, like a fishhook in the gut. Then came the smell. Not perfume. Not cologne. Just different. On her skin. On her clothes. Something musky, faintly spicy. Not hers. I knew her scents, the lavender body wash she's used since we met, the vanilla lotion she rubs on her hands at night. This was foreign. I mentioned it once, joking. "Whoa, did you try a new soap?" She froze for half a second, then laughed. Oh. Yeah, Jenna gave me the sample. Some fancy French brand. Smells weird, right? I nodded, smiled, let it go. But I didn't forget. The worst part? The sex stopped. Not gradually. Not naturally. Just stopped. We hadn't been wild lovers lately, kids, stress, life, but we still had moments. A quickie after Emily fell asleep. A lazy Sunday morning under the sheets. Something. Anything. Now? Nothing. When I reached for her one night, she turned away gently. Not tonight, babe. Headache. 2 nights later, too tired. A week after that, maybe this weekend. Weekend came and went. No follow-through. I tried not to take it personally. Stress. Hormones. Maybe perimenopause? I read an article about it once. But the timing, it lined up too neatly with the other changes. And still, I told myself, you're being ridiculous. You trust her. You've been together 12 years. 12 years. That doesn't just vanish. But doubt is a sneaky son of a bitch. It doesn't kick down the door. It slips in through the cracks, whispering in your ear when you're trying to fall asleep. What if? What if she's lying? What if she's with someone else? I pushed it down. Buried it under work, home repairs, little league games. Pretended everything was fine. Until the night I found the receipt. It was a Thursday. Rainy. I was cleaning out my gym bag, laundry day. I dumped the pockets, keys, protein bar wrapper, crumpled receipt from the gas station. And then another receipt. Pinkish, thin paper. From a hotel. Not just any hotel. The Grand Meridian. Downtown. Fancy. Rooftop bar. Valet parking. The kind of place people go for anniversaries, weddings, business dinners. Not the kind of place you stop by on your way home from work. The receipt was dated 2 weeks earlier. Room 418. Charged to a credit card. Not mine. But I recognized the last 4 digits. Lauren's visa. My blood went cold. I stared at it. Read it again. And again. Grand Meridian Hotel, Columbus, OH. Guest, R. Thompson. Room 418. Check-in, the 14th of May 24, 6:17 p.m. Check-out, the 14th of May 24, 9:43 p.m. Charges, room fee, $189, minibar, $42, spa services, $0. Total, $231. 00. Card ending in 8821, authorized. R. Thompson. A fake name. Obvious. Amateur hour. But the card was real. Hers. And she hadn't been at a budget meeting that night. I remembered, she told me she was working late, maybe grabbing dinner with coworkers. I texted her around 7:30, you coming home soon? Em wants to show you her drawing. She replied, probably another hour. Don't wait up. I waited anyway. Watched a baseball game. Fell asleep on the couch. Woke up to her slipping into bed beside me at 10:15. Dark. Quiet. I mumbled something. She kissed my shoulder and said, sorry I'm late. Crazy day. Now here was proof. Proof she'd lied. Proof she'd been somewhere else. With someone. I sat on the edge of the bed, the receipt trembling in my hand. My breath came shallow. My heart hammered like it wanted out. I wanted to scream. To cry. To throw something. Instead, I folded the receipt carefully and tucked it into my wallet. And I said nothing. Not that night. Not the next day. I watched her. I paid attention. The way she glanced at her phone when it buzzed. The way she chewed her lip when she thought I wasn't looking. The way she dressed, more carefully now. Hair done. Makeup subtle but intentional. Like she was preparing for something. Or someone. I started noticing other things. The way she took her phone into the bathroom during showers now, not just outside, but in, sitting on the counter while the steam rose. The way she deleted texts immediately after reading them. The way she avoided physical contact, no hugs, no casual touches, no brushing past me in the kitchen like she used to. And the lies. They piled up. I'm going to Jenna's for wine night. But Jenna was out of town, her Instagram said so. I have a client dinner. But her work calendar showed no events. I left my laptop at the office. But I saw it in her car the next morning. Each one was small. Each one could be explained. But together? Together, they formed a picture I couldn't unsee. She was cheating. My wife was having an affair. And I was the idiot who hadn't noticed until now. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to know more. Who was he? How long had this been going on? Was it serious? Did Emily know something? Did she sense it? I started keeping logs. Dates. Times. Places. Texts I caught glimpses of. License plates I saw her writing down in a little notebook she kept in her purse. One afternoon, I followed her. She said she was going to lunch with a coworker. Midtown Bistro. 20-minute drive. I left work early, called in sick. Parked 2 blocks away in a strip mall parking lot, engine off, windows down. She arrived in her silver Honda Accord. Got out. Looked around. Then, instead of going into the restaurant, she walked across the street. Into the Grand Meridian. Again. My stomach dropped. I waited. 47 minutes later, she came out. Alone. But different. Hair looser. Lips redder. A flush on her cheeks I knew well, the kind that comes from kissing, from touching, from being touched. She didn't go back to work. She drove straight home. I followed at a distance, heart pounding, fists clenched on the wheel. When I got home, she was in the kitchen, pouring a glass of wine. Hey, she said, smiling. You're home early. Yeah, I said, forcing a smile. Felt better sooner than expected. She didn't ask why I was really home. Didn't seem curious. Just sipped her wine and asked if I wanted to watch something on TV later? I nodded. Said sure. But that night, as she lay beside me, breathing slow and even, I stared at the ceiling and felt something die inside me. Trust. Love. Hope. All of it, crumbling like drywall behind a wall. I didn't sleep. Instead, I planned. Not revenge, not yet. Just truth. I needed to see what she was hiding. So the next day, while she was at work, I went into her email. I knew her password. We'd shared them for years, joint accounts, travel bookings, tax season. She never changed it. Daisy 77. Still the same. I opened her inbox. Hundreds of unread messages. Mostly spam. Work stuff. Then I searched for Meridian. Nothing. Searched hotel. One result. Sent 2 weeks ago. From a Gmail address, Ryan. K. Meridian@gmail.com. Subject, last night was perfect. My hands shook as I clicked. Hey Elle. I can't stop thinking about you. Every second apart feels like torture. You're incredible, smart, sexy, fearless. I've never met anyone like you. Last night was everything. I'll never forget the way you looked in that dress. Or the way you whispered my name. I know it's complicated. I know you're married. But this, us, is real. I feel it. And I know you do too. Let's not hide anymore. Let's make plans. Real ones. I love you. Ah. I read it once. Then again. Then a third time, slower, each word carving into my chest like a knife. Ryan. Ah, Thompson. Room 418. It all fit. He loved her. She was seeing him. And I was the ghost in my own home. I sat back, stunned. Numb. 12 years. 12 years of loyalty, of love, of building a life, reduced to a secret email from some guy named Ryan who called himself Meridian like it was a damn superhero alias. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to smash her computer. I wanted to call her, drag her home, scream in her face, "Who the hell is Ryan? Huh? Is he better than me? Is that it?" But I didn't. Because something colder had taken hold. Something darker. Revenge. Not impulsive. Not violent. Calculated. Precise. I didn't want to hurt her in the moment. I wanted her to feel it. To understand what she'd destroyed. To lose everything, just like I was losing everything. But first, I needed to know who he was. So I dug deeper. I found his LinkedIn profile under Ryan K. Moore, Marketing Director at Vantive Solutions, a tech firm downtown. Mid-30s. Clean cut. Smug smile in his headshot. Ivy League degree. Golf enthusiast. Single. Perfect. I created a fake Facebook account, Lena Carter, and friended him. He accepted in less than an hour. Of course he did. I slid into his DMs, "Hey Ryan. We met at the Meridian rooftop bar a few weeks ago. Remember? Red dress? You bought me a martini?" He replied within minutes. "Oh yeah. Lena. How could I forget? You were unforgettable. What's up? I was just thinking about you," I typed. That night was intense. I haven't been able to stop wondering about you. Flirty. Mysterious. Just enough to hook him. He took the bait. We messaged for days. He told me about his job, his apartment, his complicated situation with a woman who wasn't ready to leave her husband. I played along. Sympathetic. Understanding. Even suggested we meet by accident at the same bar. He agreed. I set the trap. But not for him. For her. Because I knew, sooner or later, Lauren would find out. And when she did? I wouldn't be the victim. I'd be the hunter. That night, I stood in the garage, staring at the tools on the wall. My drill. My wrench. My hammer. I picked up the hammer. Heavy. Solid. I swung it once, into the tire of my old lawnmower. The rubber split with a soft thwomp. I did it again. And again. Until the tire was shredded. Then I stopped. Put the hammer back. Went inside. Lauren was putting Emily to bed. I kissed my daughter goodnight. She hugged me tight. "Love you, Daddy." "Love you more," I said. And meant it. Because no matter what happened between me and Lauren, Emily was innocent. This war wasn't for her. It was for me. For the man I used to be. For the life that was stolen from me. And for the man I was becoming. The next morning, I booked a private investigator. His name was Carl Dunn. Ex-cop. Grizzled. No nonsense. I handed him photos of Ryan. Printouts of the emails. The hotel receipt. "Follow him," I said. "Find out everything. Where he goes. Who he sees. If he's seeing anyone besides my wife." Carl nodded. "And her?" I paused. Then said, "Not yet. I want him first. Because revenge doesn't start with rage. It starts with patience. And I was just getting started. I met Carl Dunn at a diner on the edge of town, Hank's Grill, the kind of place with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tastes like tar. He showed up in a worn leather jacket, salt and pepper stubble, and eyes that looked like they'd seen every kind of lie a person could tell. He didn't ask for my sob story. Just the facts. Name, he said, stirring sugar into his coffee. Ryan Moore. Marketing Director at Vantive Solutions. Mid-30s. Lives downtown, probably in one of those glass-box apartments near High Street. Carl nodded, jotting it down in a small notebook. And your wife? Lauren Grayson. 39. Works at Branwell Marketing. Same city. 12 years married. 1 kid. He glanced up. How long's this been going on? I don't know, I said. Long enough to lie. Long enough to use a fake name at a hotel. Long enough to tell me she loves her mother while texting him about how last night was perfect. Carl exhaled through his nose. Classic affair rhythm. Hotels during work hours. Fake names. Separate cards. They always think they're smarter than they are. And is he? I asked. Smarter? No, he said flatly. Just dumber than he thinks. He took the file I handed him, printouts of the email, the receipt, Ryan's LinkedIn photo, and tucked it into his coat pocket. Give me a week, he said. I'll show you who this guy really is. A week later, Carl called me from an unlisted number. Come to the office, he said. You're gonna want to see this. His office turned out to be a cramped room above a dry cleaner's on 4th Avenue. A desk, 2 chairs, a filing cabinet, and a wall covered in photos held up by pushpins. Surveillance shots. License plates. Timelines scrawled in red marker. On the desk sat a manila folder. Carl opened it. Ryan K. Moore, he began. 36. Graduated Princeton, MBA from Wharton. Started at Vantive 3 years ago. Makes $140,000 a year. Owns a Tesla, leases a condo on Meridian Tower, hence the Gmail, I assume. Likes golf, bourbon, and apparently, married women. I flipped through the pages, credit card statements, parking receipts, surveillance photos. One photo made my stomach twist. It was taken outside the Grand Meridian. Nighttime. Rain-slick pavement reflecting neon. Lauren. In a black dress. Hair down. Smiling. And Ryan. Arm around her waist. Leaning in. His hand low on her hip. They were laughing. Like they were happy. Like they had a future. I stared at it until the image blurred. How long? I whispered. Based on hotel records, credit card traces, and sightings, I'd say at least 4 months. Possibly longer. They've used that room 7 times. Always weekday evenings. Check-in between 6 and 7 p.m., check-out before 10. Never overnight. Smart. Leaves no paper trail with spouses. Why not just do it at his place? Too risky. She can't be seen going in or out. And if she crashes at his condo, one neighbor remembers her face, one text gets sent to the wrong person. He didn't finish. He didn't have to. I closed the folder. Then I saw another photo tucked behind it. Ryan, standing outside a different building. Not downtown. Suburban. Brick facade. Sign, Columbus Fertility and IVF Center. My breath caught. What's this? Carl leaned forward. That's where it gets interesting. He slid over a printout, a public record. Ryan Moore. Application for sperm analysis. Date, March 12th. He's trying to have a kid, Carl said. With someone. I stared at him. With her? Don't know yet. But here's the kicker, Vantive has a paternity leave policy. 6 weeks paid. But only for biological children. So if he's doing fertility testing, he's planning on claiming fatherhood. And soon. The room tilted. All this time, I thought it was just sex. An escape. A midlife thrill. But Ryan wasn't just sleeping with my wife. He was planning a life with her. A child. A family. While I played dad to Emily in a house that was already empty. I felt sick. Not just angry. Replaced. That night, I sat in the garage again. This time, I didn't pick up the hammer. I pulled out my laptop and opened the fake Facebook account, Lena Carter. Ryan had messaged me 3 times since we first connected. Hey Lena, you ever back in town? That martini's still calling your name. You're trouble. And I like it. I typed slowly. I was thinking about that night. And then I saw something weird. There's a woman, dark hair, red dress, she looks just like me. Was she there that night too? I hit send. 20 minutes later, he replied. Wait, what? No. You're the only one. Why? Because I just saw a photo, I wrote. Of you. With her. Outside a hotel. Same dress. Same night. Silence. Then. Who is this? Someone who knows too much, I typed. And who's starting to wonder if you're as single as you said you were? Another pause. Then. Look, it's not what you think. It's complicated. She's not my girlfriend. It's just temporary. I almost laughed. Temporary. That's what they all say. I responded. Complicated how? Married? No reply. I waited. 2 days passed. Then, late Thursday night, my phone buzzed. A new message from Lena's account. I need to talk. In person. Can we meet? From Ryan. I smiled. The trap was baited. I replied. Friday. 8 p.m., rooftop bar at the Grand Meridian. Bring answers. Or don't come at all. Friday came. I didn't go as Daniel. I went as Lena. Wig. Makeup. Contacts. Dark blue dress. Heels I borrowed from Lauren's closet, the ones she wore the night in the photo. I arrived early. Sat at the corner of the rooftop bar, sipping a cranberry soda with a lime wedge, non-alcoholic, just in case things got physical. The place was dim, moody, full of couples whispering over cocktails and singles pretending they weren't looking for hookups. At 8:07, Ryan walked in. He scanned the room. I raised my glass slightly. His eyes locked on me. He hesitated. Then approached. You're not what I expected, he said. Disappointed? I asked, voice low, practiced. No. Just surprised. You look like her. I finished. He flinched. Took a seat. Ordered a whiskey neat. You said you saw a photo, he began. Where? Does it matter? I said. What matters is that I know. And if I know, others might too. He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I didn't lie to hurt anyone. I care about her. Deeply. She's married, Ryan. I know that. He snapped, then lowered his voice. I know. But it's not like she's happy. She told me everything. How distant you've become. How you're never present. How you barely touch her anymore. I wanted to reach across the table and choke him. Instead, I leaned in. So you're the hero? I'm the man who makes her feel alive, he said, defiant. I let the silence hang. Then, she's pregnant, isn't she? His face went pale. What? No. Who told you that? I didn't say she was, I said softly. I said, isn't she? He looked away. Stared at the city lights. Drank half his whiskey in one gulp. She doesn't know yet, he muttered. I was going to tell her. After she filed for divorce. My blood turned to ice. After she filed for divorce. She was going to leave me. For him. And take my daughter with her. While I stood there, hollowed out, he kept talking. She's going to leave him. She promised. As soon as Emily settled. She hates lying to her. Hates feeling like a fraud. But she's okay with being a fraud to me? I whispered. He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. I stood up. You're pathetic, I said. You think you're saving her. But you're just using her pain to feed your ego. You don't love her. You love the idea of winning. I turned to leave. Wait, he said. Who are you? I looked back. Smiled. The truth. Then I walked out. Left him sitting there, staring into his glass, wondering what just happened. Back home, I found Lauren in the kitchen, helping Emily with homework. Daddy! Emily jumped up, running to hug me. You missed math time. I did, I said, lifting her into a squeeze. But I'm here now. Lauren gave me a soft smile. You okay? You look tired. I'm fine, I said. Just a long day. She didn't press. Because she didn't care. Not really. Later, after Emily was asleep, I watched Lauren from the hallway. She sat on the couch, phone in hand, typing fast. I crept closer. Saw the screen. A message to Ryan. We need to talk. Something strange happened tonight. A woman at the Meridian, she knew about us. My pulse roared. She was worried. Good. Let her sweat. Let her wonder. Let her feel the first crack in the perfect little world she was building without me. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I went to my study. Opened the safe I kept behind a false panel in the closet, something I'd installed after a burglary scare 2 years ago. Inside, cash. Old passports. And a flash drive. The one Carl gave me. I plugged it in. Folder after folder. Photos. Videos. Audio recordings. Ryan meeting Lauren at motels under fake names. Ryan calling her baby in hushed tones outside her car. Ryan arguing with a woman at a cafe, blonde, early 30s, visibly pregnant. That was new. I clicked on the video. Woman, you said you were done with her. You promised. What about us? What about our baby? Ryan, I am done. This is the last time. I swear. Woman, you said that last month. Ryan, this time it's real. Lauren's filing for divorce. Then it's over. Lauren. He was stringing 2 women along. And both of them were carrying his child. I sat back, stunned. Ryan wasn't just a cheater. He was a predator. Using vulnerability, lies, and promises to keep women dependent on him. And I had proof. Not just of the affair. Of bigamy. Fraud. Emotional manipulation. If this got out, his career would be over. His reputation, ruined. And Lauren? She'd realize she wasn't special. Just another mark. I didn't want to destroy her. But I wanted her to see. To understand what she'd chosen. So I made a copy of the flash drive. Sent it to a secure cloud. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Vantiv's HR department. Used a disguised voice app. Hi, I said, sounding like an older woman. I work with Ryan Moore. I need to report a serious ethical concern. Go ahead, the rep said. There's a situation involving misuse of company resources. hotel bookings under fake names, alleged harassment, and he's involved with a married employee from another firm. It could be a conflict of interest. Maybe even blackmail. Can you provide details? I'd prefer to remain anonymous. But I have evidence. Emails. Receipts. If you investigate room 418 at the Grand Meridian under R. Thompson, you'll find charges linked to his personal card. Cross-reference with his calendar. He's been taking budget meetings during work hours. I hung up before she could ask more. Within 48 hours, Carl called. HR launched an internal review. Ryan's been put on administrative leave. Company car confiscated. Access to systems revoked. I smiled. First move. Check. But I wasn't done. Lauren still hadn't confessed. Still pretended our marriage was salvageable. Still kissed Emily goodnight like nothing was broken. So I decided to make her doubt him. I created a second fake profile, this time, a woman named Claire. Blonde. Pretty. Instagram full of yoga, sunsets, and quotes like, "Love should be fearless." I friended Ryan. He accepted. Messaged me within hours. "Hey Claire. You're beautiful. What's your story?" I played innocent. Just looking for something real. Tired of games. He took the bait. Shared his struggles. How he was in love with someone who couldn't leave her husband. How he was starting a new chapter. How he was going to be a father soon. I listened. Sympathized. Then, slowly, I introduced doubt. "It's brave of you to wait for her. But, what if she never leaves him? What if she's just using you to feel young again?" "No," he replied. "She loves me. She's filing the papers next week." "Then why hasn't she?" I asked. 4 months, Ryan. That's a long time to wait for a decision. I let it simmer. Then, a week later, I sent a photo. Doctored. Me, Lauren, in a restaurant. With another man. Hand on his arm. Laughing. Caption, "Saw this posted online. Is this her?" He didn't respond for hours. Then. "Where did you get this?" "Friend of a friend. Said they saw them together last night. He's a lawyer. Divorce specialist. Maybe she's seeing him to speed things up." Silence. Then. "She wouldn't do that. She wouldn't move on without telling me. People do crazy things when they're scared," I wrote. "Maybe she's tired of waiting. Maybe she thinks you're not worth the risk." I stopped messaging. Let him spiral. And it worked. 3 days later, Carl sent me surveillance photos. Ryan, outside Lauren's office. Watching. Waiting. Then following her car. Not to our house. To a law firm. Hastings and Price, family law specialists. I nearly laughed. He thought she was leaving him. Perfect. I waited. And then, the call came. Lauren, voice tight. "Daniel. We need to talk." I already knew what she was going to say. But I played dumb. "Everything okay?" "No," she said. "Something's wrong. Ryan, he's acting strange. Accusing me of seeing someone else. Asking if I filed for divorce yet." "And have you?" I asked quietly. "No. Of course not. I don't even know if I want to. I've been so confused." But he's suddenly pulling away. Saying I've changed. That I'm hiding things. I let the silence stretch. Then, maybe he's realized you're not leaving me. I told him I would. "Did you?" I asked. "Or did you just say what he wanted to hear?" She froze. I could hear her breathing. "Daniel. Save it," I said. "I don't want excuses." I want honesty. For once. I hung up. She called back. I didn't answer. Let her sit in the silence. Let her feel the walls closing in. Because revenge isn't just about punishment. It's about revelation. And Ryan was about to learn that the woman he thought he was saving was just another player in a game he never understood. And I was the one holding the cards. The silence between us grew thick, like mold creeping through drywall, unseen but rotting everything from the inside. After I hung up on Lauren, she didn't call again that night. No texts. No pleading. No dramatic, "we need to talk" voicemails. Just quiet. And that scared me more than anything. Because in 12 years of marriage, I'd learned one thing about Lauren: when she was silent, she was planning. Not healing. Not reflecting. Planning. So I did what I should have done months ago. I protected myself. First, I copied every file on our shared cloud drive, photos of Emily, tax returns, insurance policies, even old vacation videos, and uploaded them to a private backup I created under a fake name. Just in case she decided to wipe it all before walking out. Then I called my brother, Mark. He's a divorce attorney in Cleveland. Quiet, sharp, the kind of guy who speaks in low tones and never raises his voice, even when he's furious. "Hey," I said when he picked up. "Can I come see you?" There was a pause. "You sound like hell." "I am." Another beat. "Come tomorrow. 9 a.m., bring everything." I left before dawn. Lauren was still asleep. Emily too. I kissed my daughter's forehead, whispered, "Daddy loves you," and walked out with a duffel bag full of clothes, the flash drive, and the receipt from the Grand Meridian, now laminated, like a sick trophy. Mark met me at his office, a sleek, minimalist space above a bookstore. He didn't offer condolences. Didn't say, "I'm sorry." Just poured me black coffee and said, "Tell me everything." So I did. From the first odd text to the hotel receipt. From Ryan's email to Carl's photos. From the fertility clinic to the fake profiles. Even the call to HR. He listened without interruption. Only nodding, scribbling notes, sipping coffee. When I finished, he leaned back. "You're not just hurt," he said. "You're strategic." I had to be, I said. She wasn't going to tell me the truth. Not unless I forced it. Mark tapped his pen on the desk. "Legally? You're in a strong position. Ohio's equitable distribution state, marital assets get split fairly, not necessarily 50-50ths. And if you can prove adultery and financial misconduct, like using joint funds for affairs, you could get primary custody, especially since Emily's young and you're the more stable parent." "What about alimony?" she might ask. But given her income and the cheating? Unlikely she gets much. Especially if we show she was planning to leave while still drawing from joint accounts. I nodded. But I wasn't thinking about money. I was thinking about her face when she realized I knew. When the lies collapsed. So I asked the question burning in my chest. Should I confront her now? Mark stuttered me. Only if you want reconciliation. Or revenge. I don't want either, I said. I want her to know I know. To feel what I felt when I found that receipt. He exhaled. Then don't give her a chance to lie. Hit her with everything at once. Evidence. Witnesses. Consequences. Make sure she can't spin it. And Ryan? He's vulnerable. Suspended from work. 2 women pregnant with his kid. 1 married. 1 possibly engaged to him. If this goes public, he's ruined. I smiled faintly. Good. Mark gave me a look. Be careful, Danny. Revenge feels good until it starts eating you alive. I stopped feeling human the night I read his email, I said. Now I'm just a man protecting what's left. That afternoon, I went home. Lauren was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables. Her back was to me. She froze when she heard the door. Slowly turned. "You left," she said. "I did," I replied, dropping my bag by the stairs. "Needed air." Her eyes searched mine. "Are you okay?" "No," I said. "But I will be." She swallowed. "We should talk." "We already did." I meant really talk. About us. I walked into the living room, sat on the couch. "Then start." She followed, sat across from me. Hands folded. Calm. Too calm. "I love you, Daniel," she began. I almost laughed. "But? I've been unhappy. For a long time. We've grown apart." And then Ryan, he listened. He saw me. Not just as a wife or a mom, but as me. "How long?" I asked. She hesitated. 4 months. Maybe 5. Since March. Yes. The night you said you were at a client dinner. The one where you came home at 10:15 and told me Emily fell asleep drawing rainbows. She looked down. "I'm sorry." "Sorry you got caught?" I asked. "Or sorry you did it?" "Both," she whispered. I leaned forward. "Did you plan to leave me?" "I wanted to. But I couldn't do it to Emily." "So you kept lying?" "I was trying to figure things out." "No," I said coldly. "You were trying to have both. Me for stability. Him for passion. A clean conscience while you destroyed my life." She flinched. "Then, you weren't exactly present, Daniel. You were always working, always tired, always elsewhere. I felt invisible. And that justifies betrayal?" I shot back. "Sex in hotels? Fake names? Lying to our daughter? Planning a child with another man?" Her eyes widened. "How do you?" "I know about the fertility test," I said. "I know about Claire, the other woman. Pregnant too. Did you two compare baby names? Swap morning sickness tips?" She paled. "You're lying." "No," I said, pulling out my phone. "Want to see a photo of Ryan arguing with her outside a cafe? Crying about how he promised to leave you? Want to hear the audio?" She stared at the screen. Then at me. "You hired a PI?" "I protected myself," I said. "While you were busy building a fantasy." She stood abruptly. "This isn't fair. You're twisting everything." "Fair?" I laughed. "You think fair matters when you're stealing someone's life?" I stood too. "You don't get to play victim, Lauren. You made your choice. Now you live with it." I turned to walk away. "Wait," she said, voice breaking. "What are you going to do?" I paused at the foot of the stairs. "I'm filing for divorce. On grounds of adultery. I'll let the court decide custody. But Emily stays with me. That's non-negotiable. You can't take her from me." "I'm not taking her," I said. "You already did. The moment you chose him over us." Then I went upstairs. Packed a second suitcase. And left. 2 days later, I served her. Mark handled the paperwork. Filed it same day. Adultery. Emotional distress. Request for temporary sole custody. I sent her a copy via email, with subject line, "Divorce petition, Daniel Grayson versus Lauren Grayson." Attached, the email from Ryan. The hotel receipt. Screenshots of her messages. No note. Just facts. Let her sit with them. Let her read the words "I love you" written to another woman while she kissed our daughter goodnight. Let her explain to her lawyer why she charged $1,200 in hotel stays to a card we used for Emily's orthodontist. Let her face it. All of it. Meanwhile, Ryan's world was collapsing. Carl kept me updated. HR investigation confirmed misuse of company time and resources. Hotel bookings during work hours. Personal calls on company lines. Vantive fired him, publicly cited ethical violations. His Tesla was repossessed. His condo landlord demanded proof of income. Lease review initiated. And Claire? She confronted him. In person. Carl got video. Ryan, pale, stammering. Claire, furious. You told me she meant nothing. You said you were done. And now I find out she's pregnant too. What the hell is wrong with you? I didn't know. It just happened. It just happened? You're sleeping with 2 women at once and calling it an accident? He tried to apologize. She slapped him. Walked away. Left him standing on the sidewalk like a ghost. Perfect. But I wasn't done. Because revenge isn't complete until the liar believes the lie has consequences. So I arranged a meeting. Not as Daniel. Not as Lena. As herself. I doctored a voice recording, using snippets of Lauren's speech from old videos, slowed, altered, filtered through software Carl provided. Then I called Ryan. Used a burner. My voice, modulated to sound like Lauren Ryan. We need to talk. Meet me at the park. By the duck pond. 6 p.m. He showed up. Alone. Nervous. I watched from a distance. Carl had set up a camera in a tree near a bench. Ryan waited. 5 minutes. 10. Then, a woman approached. Blonde. Slim. Wearing sunglasses. Claire. He backed up. No. Not you. I thought. You thought I was her. Claire snapped. You really are sick. You can't even tell us apart anymore? I didn't mean to. Save it. I'm done. And so is everyone else. I sent the emails to her husband. All of them. The I love you ones. The ones about leaving. The plans for the baby. Ryan's face drained of color. You didn't. I did. And guess what? He's not broken. He's angry. And he knows everything. She turned to leave. Ryan grabbed her arm. Please. Just tell me it's not true. She yanked free. You brought this on yourself. Then she was gone. Ryan stood there. Alone. Head in hands. And for the first time, I didn't feel triumph. I felt something darker. Recognition. Because in that moment, he wasn't the villain. He was just another fool who believed his own lies. And I? I was becoming something worse. A man who enjoyed watching others break. That night, I got a call. From Lauren. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Daniel, she said, voice raw. We need to talk. In person. Why? Because Emily asked why you haven't come home. And I don't know what to tell her. My chest tightened. Then tell her the truth. She's 8. And you're her mother. You've had no problem lying to her face for months. How hard can one honest conversation be? Silence. Then, I'm scared. I closed my eyes. For a second, the anger faded. Just for a second. I know, I said quietly. So am I. We can fix this, she whispered. Maybe counseling. Maybe. No, I said. Some things can't be fixed. They can only be survived. I hung up. But I didn't sleep. Instead, I went to Emily's room. She was asleep, curled around her stuffed rabbit, mouth slightly open. I sat beside her bed. Watched her breathe. Thought about Ryan and Lauren and Claire. About lies and choices and consequences. And I realized something. Revenge wasn't making me stronger. It was making me colder. But I couldn't stop. Because if I did, it would mean accepting that I lost. And I refused to lose. Not completely. So the next morning, I did the one thing I hadn't planned. I contacted both women. Claire first. Used my real name. Email. Hi Claire. My name is Daniel Grayson. I'm Lauren's husband. I know you're pregnant with Ryan Moore's child. So is my wife. I don't expect you to trust me. But I want you to know, you're not alone. And you don't have to go through this blind. She replied in less than an hour. Oh my God. I've been wondering who you were. I'm so sorry. Don't be, I wrote. None of this is your fault. But Ryan is dangerous, not violent, but emotionally manipulative. He plays people. I want to help you protect yourself. And your baby. We agreed to meet. Neutral place. Public. Same day. She showed up, petite, nervous, eyes wide. We talked for 2 hours. She'd known Ryan for 8 months. Thought he was separating from a toxic ex. Never knew about Lauren until recently. He said he loved me, she said, tears falling. He talked about marriage. A house. A dog. I handed her copies of the evidence. Photos. Emails. HR report. She read them silently. Then looked up. What do? We protect ourselves, I said. And we make sure he can't do this again. Together, we filed restraining orders. Not for violence, but for emotional safety. Claire cited harassment, false promises, psychological manipulation. I cited adultery, financial deceit, risk of parental alienation. The courts granted both. Ryan was ordered to cease all contact. With both of us. With all of us. The final blow came a week later. Carl sent me a photo. Ryan, boxes in hand, being escorted out of his condo by 2 men in suits. Evicted. Bankrupt. Unemployed. And alone. I stared at the image. No joy. No satisfaction. Just emptiness. Because in destroying him, I hadn't reclaimed my life. I'd just proven how far I was willing to go to punish someone for breaking it. That night, I dreamed of Emily. She was standing in a field, calling for me. But I couldn't reach her. Every step I took, she moved farther away. I woke up sweating. And for the first time since this began, I cried. Not for me. Not for Lauren. For the man I used to be. The one who believed in love. In loyalty. In second chances. He was gone. And I didn't know if I wanted him back. But life doesn't wait for epiphanies. 3 days later, Emily called. Daddy, she said. Mom says you're getting divorced. I sat on the edge of my rented apartment bed. Yes, sweetheart. We are. Does that mean you won't be my daddy anymore? No, I said, voice cracking. I'll always be your daddy. Nothing can change that. Will you still come to school events? Every single one. Will you still read me stories? As many as you want. She was quiet. Then, I miss you. I miss you too, Em. More than anything. Can I come see you this weekend? Yes, I said. Yes, you can. And in that moment, I remembered why I started this. Not for revenge. Not for destruction. For her. To keep her safe. To show her what integrity looks like. Even when the world falls apart. So when the judge called me to testify weeks later, about the affair, the lies, the impact on Emily, I didn't speak of hatred. I spoke of truth. Of boundaries. Of a father's love. And when the ruling came, sole custody granted to me, visitation for Lauren, no alimony due to misconduct. I didn't celebrate. I knelt in my apartment, hugged Emily tight, and whispered, "We're going to be okay." Because revenge may have started this war. But love? Love would end it. Winter came early that year. Snow dusted the rooftops of Columbus like powdered sugar, blanketing the scars of the past months under a quiet hush. I'd moved into a small two-bedroom apartment near Franklin Park, close enough to Emily's school, far enough from the house that every corner didn't remind me of her. The divorce was final by December. No ceremony. No courtroom drama. Just a judge's signature on a stack of documents that officially ended 12 years of marriage. Adultery cited. Custody awarded to me. Joint therapy ordered for Emily with both parents present once a month. Lauren got supervised visits at first, standard procedure when infidelity and emotional instability were factors. But over time, as she stayed clean, showed up on time, and kept her distance from Ryan, the court eased restrictions. She wasn't evil. Just weak. And lost. And for the first time since I found that receipt, I could admit that without wanting to break something. Emily adjusted faster than I expected. Kids are resilient, not because they forget, but because they adapt. She asked hard questions. Did Mommy stop loving you? Does she love Ryan more than me? Will she come back if I'm really good? I answered each one honestly. No, sweetheart. She didn't stop loving me. But she stopped choosing us. And no one loves anyone more than they love you. Not ever. We started a new routine. Saturday pancakes. Sunday bike rides. A daddy-daughter journal where we wrote notes to each other when we felt sad or proud or confused. She drew pictures of our new life, stick figures of me, her, a dog, she still wanted one, and a sun always shining. I hung them on the fridge. One day, she looked at me and said, "I don't want to hate Mommy." "You don't have to," I told her. "You can love her and still be mad. People aren't just good or bad. They are messy." She nodded, like she understood more than I gave her credit for. And maybe she did. Ryan Moore disappeared. Not literally. He still existed. But his life had collapsed into silence. Fired. Evicted. Sued by Claire for child support. Ordered into mediation. His name briefly trended on local news after a blog post titled "The Double Life of a Corporate Romeo" went viral. Vantive issued a statement condemning unethical personal conduct. His parents disowned him. Friends ghosted. Last Carl heard, he'd moved in with a cousin in Toledo, working nights at a warehouse. Broken. Humbled. Alone. I should have felt victorious. But I didn't. Because revenge, I'd learned, doesn't heal. It only confirms the wound. And mine ran deep. Then, on a grey afternoon in March, the doorbell rang. I opened it. Ryan stood there. Thinner. Pale. Hair unkempt. Wearing a worn coat, hands shoved in pockets. He looked like a man who hadn't slept in weeks. "Daniel," he said. Voice quiet. No arrogance. No charm. Just exhaustion. I didn't invite him in. I stepped onto the porch, closing the door behind me. "It's over, Ryan. Whatever you came to say, save it." "I know," he said. "I just needed to see you. To say this in person." I crossed my arms. Snow fell lightly between us. "You destroyed my marriage," I said. "You lied to two women. You played with lives like they were game pieces. What could you possibly say that matters?" He swallowed. Nodded, like he deserved it. "You're right. I was selfish. Arrogant. I told myself I was in love, but I wasn't. I was addicted to being wanted. To feeling powerful. To winning." He looked down. "I hurt people. Real people. Not characters in some fantasy. And I can't take it back. I said nothing. I saw Emily last week, he whispered. My blood froze. What? At the park. She was on the swings. Laughing. You were pushing her. I stared at him. She's beautiful, he said. And happy? Despite everything. That's none of your business. No, he agreed. But seeing her, it broke me. Because I realized, I'll never have that. Not with my daughter. Not with anyone. I ruined my chance before she was even born. He pulled an envelope from his pocket. Handed it to me. Inside, a signed letter. A confession. Dated and notarized. I, Ryan Kate Moore, admit to engaging in a romantic and sexual relationship with Lauren Grayson while she was married to Daniel Grayson. I knowingly misled her about my intentions, promised commitment I did not intend to fulfill, and concealed my concurrent relationship with another woman, Claire Reynolds, with whom I am now expecting a child. I accept full responsibility for the pain caused to Daniel, Lauren, Emily, Claire, and all affected parties. This affair was not love. It was manipulation, ego, and cowardice. Below it, his signature. And below that, a second page. A relinquishment of parental rights. Voluntary. To be submitted to family court. I'm not fighting for custody, he said. I don't deserve to be a father. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But if I stay in her life, I'll only hurt her. So I'm stepping away. For good. I stared at the papers. This was power. Real power. Not revenge. Choice. He could have fought. Played the victim. Dragged Claire through years of court battles. Instead, he surrendered. For the first time, I saw him clearly. Not as a monster. But as a man who finally faced himself. And couldn't bear the reflection. I handed the envelope back. Keep it, I said. Give it to Claire. Or the court. But don't give it to me. I don't need it to prove anything. He blinked. Why? Because I'm done proving anything, I said. To you. To her. To the world. I won the war. But I almost lost myself in it. He nodded slowly. Are you okay? He asked. I looked past him, toward the window where Emily sat coloring at the kitchen table, humming to herself. No, I said. But I'm getting there. He turned to leave. Then paused. I hope she knows how lucky she is to have you. And then he was gone. Walking down the snowy sidewalk, shoulders slumped, disappearing into the winter haze. That night, I burned the copy of the email he'd sent Lauren. The one that started it all. I love you. Ah. I lit the corner with a match and watched the flames eat the words. Not because I forgave him. But because I refused to let his lie define my truth. Months passed. Spring returned. Emily started 3rd grade. Lauren began therapy. Got a promotion. Moved into a smaller house across town. Started volunteering at Emily's school. We never spoke unless we had to. But we co-parented. Civilly. Respectfully. Once, at a school play, she handed me a thermos of coffee, black, just how I liked it. Thanks, I said. She nodded. She's good up there, huh? She is. We watched Emily perform her tiny role with radiant confidence. And for a moment, it felt like peace. One evening, I took Emily to the lake. We fed ducks. Threw stones. Sat on the bench where Ryan had met Claire. She looked at me. Do you still hate Mommy? No, I said. I don't hate anyone anymore. Not even Ryan? I hesitated. No. Not even him. She leaned against me. Good, she said. Hate is heavy. I laughed, softly, surprised. It is, I said. You're pretty wise for 8. I read it in a book. I kissed the top of her head. And in that moment, I realized. Revenge had been the beginning. But this? This quiet love, this stubborn hope, this daily choice to be better. This was the ending. Not fairy tale perfect. Not without scars. But real. And mine. Years later, Emily would write a college essay titled, "The Year My Family Broke and How We Learned to Mend." She'd describe me as the man who taught me that strength isn't about never falling apart, it's about choosing to put yourself back together, piece by piece, even when it hurts. She wouldn't mention Ryan by name. But she'd write. Sometimes, the people who hurt us the most end up teaching us the deepest lessons, that forgiveness isn't for them, it's for us. That love doesn't disappear when trust breaks. And that healing isn't a single act, but 1,000 small choices to keep going. I still live in Columbus. Still drink from the chipped, "World's Okayest Dad" mug. Still mow the lawn on Saturdays. Sometimes, I pass the Grand Meridian. I don't look up at room 418. I keep walking. Because the man who lived in that shadow? He's gone. And the man I am now? He's still learning how to live in the light.